Chapter 1. Whispers of the Jade. The wind carried the first note before anyone heard it. It curled through the bamboo groves of the celestial bureaucracy, a sound so faint it might have been mistaken for the sight of a weary god. But those who listened, those who had spent lifetimes tuning their ears to the harmonies of the cosmos, knew better. This was no ordinary breath of air. This was the first whisper of the Jade. In the halls of the Jade Emperor's palace, where scrolls of fate unrolled like rivers of ink, a single official moved with quiet purpose. His name was White, though few remembered it now. He was a minor clerk, a man of modest rank, but his hands were not those of a bureaucrat. They were the hands of a musician, calloused from the weight of a flute that did not yet exist. The Jade had come to him in a dream, not the polished, flawless jade of the immortals, but a rough, uncut stone veined with streaks of emerald and gold, pulsed in his hands, alive with a rhythm only he could hear. The dream had been so vivid that when he awoke, he pressed his palms to his chest, half expecting to find the stone still there, still humming against his skin. But the dream had been a message. The Jade was waiting. Why knew the laws of the celestial bureaucracy. No mortal was permitted to craft an instrument from immortal materials. The penalty was unspoken, but the weight of it pressed against his ribs like a second set of lungs. Yet the stone called to him. It whispered in the language of the stars, a melody that coiled around his thoughts until he could no longer ignore it. He found the Jade in the gardens of the forgotten, where the Emperor's discarded treasures lay half buried in the earth. It was larger than he had imagined, heavy with the weight of centuries. When he lifted it, the stone shivered, as if recognizing his touch. The veins within it glowed faintly like embers in the dark. For months, he worked in secret. By day, he filed reports and stamped decrees, his fingers moving with the precision of a man who had spent a lifetime in service. By night, he carved. The Jade resisted him at first, its surface unyielding beneath his chisel. But then, as if sensing his devotion, it softened. The stone yielded to his touch, revealing itself in layers, each one more luminous than the last. The first note he played was a mistake, a breath, a tremor, a sound so pure it made the lanterns in his chamber flicker. The melody that followed was not of this world. It was the song of the stars before they were given names, of the universe, before the gods divided it into heavens and hells. And then silence. Why froze, his fingers hovering over the flute. Somewhere in the distance, a gong had sounded. Not the deep resonant chime of the celestial court, but something sharper, more urgent. A warning. He had been heard. The next morning, the gardens of the forgotten were sealed. The Emperor's messengers moved through the halls like shadows, their eyes lingering on Why as he bent over his scrolls. He did not flinch. He did not falter. But his hands trembled just once when he reached for his inkstone. That night, the Jade Flute sang again. This time, the melody was louder. It crawled through the palace corridors, weaving through the dreams of the gods. The Jade Emperor stirred in his sleep, his brow furrowing as if he had heard something forbidden. And in the halls of the celestial bureaucracy, the scrolls of fate trembled, their ink bleeding like tears. Why knew what was coming. The flute had spoken to him in the language of the stars, and it had told him the truth. The music he played was not meant for mortal ears. It was a song that could unravel the heavens. But he could not stop. The whispers of the Jade had become a chorus, and he was the only one who could hear it. The next chapter would decide whether he would be remembered as a heretic or as the man who changed the music of the cosmos forever.